I never thought I'd be the guy sitting here, pouring my guts out on a Reddit post, but here I am. My wedding day was supposed to be the happiest moment of my life. Bright sun, friends and family all gathered, laughter ringing in the air. I remember the smell of fresh-cut grass mixed with that faint perfume my wife, Lisa, always wore. It was supposed to be perfect. But within hours, everything shattered. It all started when I noticed her phone buzzing constantly. I teased her about it, joking, "Who's flooding your inbox, huh?" She just shrugged, flashing that tight smile that I'd always trusted, the kind of smile she knew I loved. But that day, I couldn't shake the gut feeling that something was off. She was distracted, her eyes darting around, her touches a little too quick when she handed me her bouquet. During the reception, I caught her looking at her phone more than once, her fingers trembling slightly. Now I'd always been suspicious of little things, her late nights, secretive texts, the odd way she'd avoid my gaze sometimes. But I told myself I was paranoid. Still, that feeling gnawed at me like a rat in my gut. Then I saw her slip her phone into her clutch once more, and I decided to check. I didn't mean to be a creep, but I couldn't leave it alone. I peeked at the screen when she wasn't paying attention. My stomach clenched as I saw a string of messages that set my world on fire. They weren't just friendly banter. They were intimate, flirtatious, and downright disgusting. The messages talked about how much she missed him and waiting for tonight. The worst part. Her him was none other than our best man, Mark. Our best man, the guy I'd trusted more than anyone. I'd always thought Mark was a good guy, someone I could count on. Turns out he'd been hiding this from me too. My hands went numb. I read everything in a slow, sinking way. My mind reeled. I remembered the way Lisa had been so eager to get married, her excitement, her tears of joy. And now I knew she'd been lying about everything. She'd been with Mark during our wedding reception, while I was dancing, laughing, and making vows. She'd been with him when she was supposed to be celebrating with me. I felt my face grow hot, my fists clenched. I wanted to scream, to break something, but I stood still. My chest felt tight, my heartbeat pounding in my ears. I looked around and saw her laughing with Mark, leaning in close, an intimate touch I'd never imagined seeing her do with anyone, especially not our best man. That's when I realized I'd been living a lie. I didn't know her at all. I kept the phone in my hand, trembling. I wanted to confront her then and there, but I knew I had to think. I couldn't let her see that I knew. I had to plan my next move carefully. I already knew this wasn't just about a betrayal, it was about me losing all trust in the woman I thought I knew. The woman I loved. The woman I married. After the reception, I slipped away to the hotel alone. I sat in the dark of my room, mind spinning, stomach churning. The cold truth hit me like a punch to the gut. I was a fool. I'd been blind to the signs, and now I was left with a pile of shattered trust. She lied about everything, and the worst part, I didn't even know if I ever really knew her at all. I looked at the phone again. The messages still stared back at me, cold and unforgiving. I knew I had to do something. I couldn't let her get away with this. Not just for me, but for what she'd done, lying at the altar, cheating behind my back, pretending she loved me. It's like she took everything we had and threw it in the trash. I decided I'd get revenge, not in some childish way, but a calculated, deliberate plan. She'd pay, I decided, for making a fool of me, for betraying everything I believed in. I'd make her regret the day she ever crossed me. I just didn't know how yet, but I'd figure it out. And that's where I am now, sitting here in a dimly lit hotel room trying to piece my life back together. Only I know deep down nothing will be the same again. I've got a plan forming and it's about to get ugly. But first, I need to get some clarity. Next part. The next morning, I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. My head was pounding, and the weight of what I'd seen and what I was about to do pressed down on me like a ton of bricks. I kept replaying that message trail in my head, the way she'd been whispering her lies, her betrayal hidden behind a fake smile. I hated the feeling of being so deceived, but mostly I hated myself for not seeing it sooner. I poured myself a drink, trying to drown the nausea. It didn't work. My stomach twisted, and I could feel my palms sweating. I knew I couldn't go on like this forever, pretending I hadn't seen what I saw. I needed a plan, something that would hit her where it hurt, something that would make her regret every single lie. First, I wanted to find out just how far she'd gone. I needed physical evidence. I started thinking about the details, those texts, her secret meetings, the little things she'd been doing to hide what she was up to. I remembered she'd been acting weird for weeks, texting late at night, canceling plans, brushing me off with flimsy excuses. Now I had a reason for all of it. I decided to hire a private investigator. I knew it sounded extreme, but I was past caring. If she'd been cheating, I needed proof. I contacted a guy I found online, discreet, professional, and discreetly affordable. I laid it all out for him. She'd been unfaithful with our best man during our wedding celebration. I told him I wanted everything on record, photos, videos, recordings if possible. I wanted her to see I was serious. The guy nodded and promised to start that same afternoon. I felt a little sick, but at the same time relieved that I'd finally be getting some clarity. I also made sure to cover my tracks. I paid in cash, used burner phones, and told no one else about what I was doing. Trust no one, especially now. While I waited for the investigator's report, I spent the day obsessively going over every detail, every moment I'd missed, every sign I'd ignored. The way she'd flinched when I asked about her phone, her quick excuses, the way she avoided my eyes when I looked too long, all of it now made perfect sense. She'd been hiding this from me for months, probably longer. That night the investigator called. "Got some good stuff for you," he said in a low voice. His words confirmed what I'd feared. She'd been with Mark that night in a hotel room not far from the reception. Photos of them kissing, her coat on the floor, the way they looked so into each other. The video was even worse, a snippet of her whispering into his ear, her hand on his chest, her face flushed. I stared at the images, cold fury rising in my chest. This wasn't just some fling, this was a full-blown affair. I felt a wave of nausea, but also clarity. I knew exactly what I had to do next. No more hiding, no more pretending. I was going to confront her with everything in my possession. The plan was simple but calculated. I'd call her, tell her I knew everything, and give her the chance to come clean. If she denied it, I'd show her the evidence. I wanted her to see how deep her lies ran. I'd see if she could spin her way out of this one. I wasn't going to let her manipulate me again. I also decided I'd keep the evidence hidden until the right moment. She needed to see I was a step ahead. As I prepared to call her, I felt a strange sensation, part dread, part anticipation. This was the moment I'd been waiting for, and I knew once I pulled the trigger, everything would change forever. My fingers hovered over the phone. I took a breath, feeling my pulse race. This was it. No more hiding. No more pretending. Time to get the truth out in the open, and then I'd see what she was really made of. The call was about to go through. I wanted her to know I wasn't the fool anymore. She'd regret crossing me, I promised myself that much. This was just the beginning, next part. I hesitated for a second, then hit the call button. My heart hammered in my chest, a sick mixture of anger and anticipation. I kept my phone pressed against my ear and waited. The line rang twice, then her voice, calm and a little too cheerful, answered. "Hey babe, everything okay?" That's when I felt the first punch of real rage. My voice came out cold and steady, but beneath it I was seething. "We need to talk, now." Silence on the other end. I could hear her breathing, faint and a little hesitant. I continued, voice sharper. "I know what you've been doing with Mark during the wedding reception. I saw the evidence, Lisa." There was a pause, then she laughed, tiny, nervous. "What are you talking about? You're wrong." "No, you're not sorry, are you?" I cut her off. "I've got pictures, videos, I know everything. You've been lying to me, pretending to be someone you're not. How long has this been going on?" More silence. Then her voice broke, a little shaky now. "It's not what it looks like." "Oh, really?" "Because it looks pretty damn clear to me," I said, voice rising. "You betrayed me, Lisa. You cheated with our best man. Do you even understand what that means?" She stammered, trying to explain, but I wasn't having it. I felt my palms sweat, my stomach clenched painfully. I saw her lies in my head, her flinching when I asked questions, that guilty look she'd give me. It all came rushing back. I'd been blind, but now I saw her true face. "I want you to come here," I said. "Come home, or I'm coming to you. I want to see your face when you tell me the truth." She was crying now, her voice trembling. "Please, I didn't mean for it to happen." "No, Lisa, you did. You planned it. You lied to me, all for some stupid thrill." I let a bitter pause hang in the air. You might think you can hide this forever, but I've got the evidence, and I'm done pretending I don't know. You're not the woman I married, you're just a liar with a pretty face. She finally broke down, sobbing on the line. I swear I love you, it was a mistake. I scoffed. Love. You don't even know what that means. I want you to pack your things and leave. Don't come back until you've figured out what you really want, unless you want me to come there and throw your ass out myself. The line went dead after that. I sat there for a moment, staring at the phone, feeling a strange mix of satisfaction and annoying dread. I'd finally confronted her with the truth, but what came next? That's when I realized I had to act fast, because I knew Lisa. She'd probably try to spin her way out of this. Deny everything, or worse, try to make me feel guilty. I pulled out the evidence, a folder with the photos, the videos, the texts. I kept a copy on my phone just in case and hid the physical copies in a safe spot. I was done playing nice. She needed to see I was serious. Then I started planning my next move. I'd give her a chance to come clean, but I already knew what I wanted. No more excuses, no more hiding. This wasn't just about her cheating. It was about the entire foundation of our relationship crumbling into dust. I had to destroy the lie she'd built around us. I looked around my apartment and felt the cold fury settle deep inside. I would make her feel what it was like to be betrayed, only I'd do it smart, calculated, and in a way she couldn't wiggle out of. I wasn't going to let her walk away unscathed. Not after all this. I grabbed my keys and started thinking about the final move. The moment of truth. I'd confront her face to face, reveal everything, and then I'd cut her loose for good. No more pretending, no more lies, just raw, brutal honesty and my revenge. I knew one thing for sure. From this moment on, she'd start to regret ever crossing me. Now I just had to wait for her to come home or I'd go to her. Either way, the game was on, and I wasn't playing fair anymore. Next part. The door swung open, and she hesitated just a second before stepping inside. Lisa looked tired, eyes swollen from crying, but I could see the flicker of defiance behind her gaze. I was already standing there, evidence in hand, feeling the weight of what I was about to do settle heavily on my shoulders. "Lisa," I started, voice low but steady. "We need to talk, no more lies." She looked at me like I was crazy, her lips trembling. "What are you talking about? I told you I didn't do anything." I held up the folder. "Don't lie to me anymore, I have the proof. Photos, videos, texts, you cheated on me, with Mark, during our wedding reception." Her face went pale, then red. She tried to speak, but I cut her off. "Save it, I've heard enough, I want to know why. Why did you do it?" Her hands trembled as she looked away. It was a mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. It was a stupid moment, I swear. "Stupid moment," I echoed, my voice rising. "You think that's enough? You think lying to my face and sneaking behind my back is a stupid moment?" She looked like she was about to cry again, but her pride kept her from falling apart. "I love you," she whispered. "I never meant to hurt you." I laughed bitterly. "You're lying. You've been lying to me for months. All those late nights, silence on the phone, the way you avoided my gaze, how could I not see it?" "I was scared," she admitted quietly. "I didn't want to lose you. I thought I could fix it, that if I just kept pretending it would go away." I shook my head, feeling the cold rage bubble up again. "You didn't just cheat, you betrayed everything we had. Our vows, our future. You made a mockery of all of it." She looked like she was trying to justify herself, but I wasn't buying it. I'd had enough. Knew what I had to do. The revenge I'd been planning since the moment I saw those messages suddenly felt so clear. It was time for the final blow. "You're leaving," I said. "And you're not coming back, not until you understand what you've lost. I want you to pack your bags and go tonight. Don't try to contact me. I don't want to see you for a long while." Her eyes widened and she shook her head. "Please don't do this. We can fix it, I swear." "No," I interrupted. "You had your chance. You chose this. I'm done being a fool for someone who doesn't respect me enough to tell the truth." I reached into my pocket and pulled out a set of keys I'd hidden earlier. "Here," I said coldly. "This is your key. Take it and don't come back. If you do, I swear I'll make sure you regret it." Her hand trembled as she reached for the keys, tears streaming down her face now. "You don't mean that," she whispered. "Please." "I do," I said firmly. "Goodbye, Lisa." She looked at me one last time, lips trembling, and then turned to leave. I watched her go, feeling the hollow ache in my chest. It was over, or so I told myself. But as she disappeared out the door, I knew this wasn't just about ending a relationship. It was about reclaiming who I was, about making her see that her lies had consequences. I'd made sure she understood. Now it was her turn to face the fallout. I sat down on the couch, staring blankly at the empty doorway. My fists clenched tightly, muscles stiff with rage. I knew I'd won this battle, but the war was far from over. The pain still lingered, sharp and raw, but I was finally free from her web of lies. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself, but I couldn't ignore the sinking feeling that this was just the beginning. The real revenge was yet to come. I'd left the door open for her to come back, only I'd make her regret that every single day. This was the end of her lies, and I was about to make sure she paid for everyone. Next part. The house felt eerily silent after she left. That quiet was almost louder than her words, her footsteps, her crying. I sat in the living room, staring at the door she just walked out of, feeling the weight of everything I'd uncovered and everything I was about to do. I knew she'd try to reach out, try to spin her way back into my life. That's exactly why I had to act fast. I spent the next few hours building my plan, laying out every move like a chess game. I'd already collected the evidence, the photos, the videos, the texts. I'd kept copies on my phone and in a safe folder. Now I needed to make sure she understood I wasn't bluffing. First, I called my lawyer, told him I was terminating the marriage immediately, and I wanted to do it quietly without a fuss. No messy court battles, just an uncontested divorce. I didn't want her to have any leverage or to drag this out more than necessary. The sooner I was free, the better. While waiting for the divorce papers to process, I turned my attention to her contacts. I went through her phone carefully, looking for anything that might complicate things. I blocked her from all our shared social media accounts, changed the passwords on everything. No more access for her, no more excuses. I wanted her to feel cut off. Then I started thinking about her reaction. I knew from experience she was a master manipulator. She'd probably try to call, plead, maybe even lie her way out of this. That's when I decided I'd be prepared for her next move. She'd probably pretend to be innocent, act like she was the victim, and try to guilt me into taking her back. Not this time. I'd already planned the final step, one that would leave her with no room to wiggle. I'd send her the proof she desperately wanted to deny. The photos, the videos, the texts, all of it. I wanted her to see that I knew everything and that I wasn't backing down. I set up a secure email account, wrote a message. Short, cold, to the point. Lisa, I know everything. The affair, the lies, the betrayal, here's the evidence you tried to hide. Don't contact me again. You lost everything the day you cheated. My name, then I attached the files, detailed, undeniable. I made sure the message was blunt but firm. No emotion, no pleading, just facts. I wanted her to understand that I saw through her, that she couldn't manipulate her way out of this. When I hit send, I felt a strange sense of relief. The cat was out of the bag. Now she had no excuse, no way to spin her story. She'd be forced to confront what she'd done, and when she did, I'd be waiting. That night I stayed up, staring at the screen, waiting. I knew she'd try to call, to text, to plead for forgiveness. I was ready for that. I had already decided what I'd say, nothing. Not until she truly understood that her lies had consequences. In the end, I realized this wasn't just about revenge. It was about reclaiming myself, about proving I wasn't some fool who'd been played. She'd taken everything from me: trust, respect, love, and I was determined to take it all back. I closed my laptop, feeling the emptiness settle in again. But this time it was different. It was a hollow victory, sure, but also a start. A clean break, the final step in making her face what she'd done. Now I just had to wait, and when she finally saw the evidence, I knew her reaction would tell me everything I needed to know about her, about us, and about whether I'd ever truly been part of her life or just another lie in her world. Next part. The next morning I woke up with a strange sense of calm. The adrenaline from yesterday had cooled down, replaced by a quiet resolve. I knew she'd seen the email by now. I imagined her panic, her trying to deny everything, maybe even calling me, desperate to salvage what she'd already lost. But I was done with her lies. I was done with pretending I didn't see through her. I decided to give her a little time before I made my move. Instead, I took a long shower, feeling the hot water wash away the last bits of my confusion and hurt. The smell of the soap, the sound of the water pounding down, those small sensations grounded me. I had to remind myself that I was still here, still in control. When I finally stepped out and checked my phone, there was nothing. No calls, no texts, no apologies. Nothing. I knew she was probably trying to come up with some story to save herself, but I didn't care anymore. She'd already revealed her true self, the one I thought I knew but who was just a stranger hiding behind a mask. I grabbed the divorce papers I'd prepared with the lawyer, signed them quickly, feeling the weight of each signature. I didn't want to drag this out. I wanted the closure. As I folded the papers and put them in an envelope, I looked around my apartment, empty now, but mine again. I wrote a brief note to her. It's over. You betrayed everything, and I won't be part of your lies anymore. I'm signing the divorce papers today. You can have your freedom. If that's what you want, then stay away. I hope someday you realize what you lost. I placed the note on the kitchen table, sealed the envelope, and grabbed the keys to the apartment. As I locked the door behind me, I felt a heavy weight lift off my shoulders. The freedom to start over was finally in my grasp. Driving to the lawyer's office, I felt a strange mix of emptiness and relief. I'd finally done what I needed to do. I'd confronted her, exposed her lies, and ended it all cleanly. No messy drama, no prolonged pain, just a decisive cut. That's what I needed. When I handed over the signed papers, I saw her name on the other side of the glass. She looked tired, defeated. Her eyes flicked to mine, a flicker of regret or maybe fear. It didn't matter, I'd already won. Her betrayal had sealed her fate. As I walked out of the office, I realized something important. I'd spent so long questioning whether I ever truly knew her. Now I knew. She was just another lie I'd been made to believe, and I was finally free from that lie. I don't have all the answers about love or trust, but I do know this. Sometimes you have to burn everything down to see the truth. And once it's out in the open, all that's left is to rebuild, stronger, wiser, and whatever remains of yourself, without the deception dragging you down. That's what I did. And honestly, it was the best thing I've ever done for myself.